Welcome to this special edition of Under the Shell presented by Terrapin Sports Central. Next week, the Maryland women's golf team will travel to Athens, Georgia for the NCAA regional tournament. So we invited on the star of the team from the Czech Republic who spent the last 3 seasons of her golf career at Maryland, Patricie Mackova. We hope you enjoy learning about her story and how the Maryland women's golf team hopes to do this upcoming week to try to qualify for the NCAA championship. We hope you enjoy.
Just for some people who don't know, or maybe don't know your story, so just tell people how you ended up here at the University of Maryland.
Okay, so I played junior golf back home in the Czech Republic, where I come from. And the coach of the University of Maryland approached me and talked to me about that she liked how I played, and she had a scholarship for me. So she offered me scholarship my junior year of high school. And because I liked UMD so much, I took the advantage and I came here.
So what was kind of the process like of, getting onto a college roster from being away?
So the good thing about women's golf is that usually there is about 8 to 10 people on the team, and they have 6 full scholarship to give. So that's pretty big percentage. And also they scout outside the United States, in Europe, and sometimes in Asia too. So a lot of golf coaches come to Europe to get tournaments to watch all of us play. And then that's how me and my coach met before I came here.
So the coach from Maryland?
Yes. Yeah. I had different offers from Texas A&M and Kent State, but I liked UMD very much. And it's super close to DC, which is very convenient for me because I have to take usually 3 flights to get home. So, and I really like the campus, and the academics is great here. So Maryland was my first choice.
Can you just talk a little bit about how you kind of started playing golf, where that came from, and is it rooted in your family? What was kind of the process of that?
So we are actually a huge tennis family, and I started with tennis, but I sucked. I sucked so badly. So my parents were like, hey, we need to come up with something else. And my granddad at that time, he was a huge fan of golf, and he was at the golf course every single day. So he brought me with him one time, and I kind of liked it. So I think I stick with it, and I was pretty good growing up. So I think that's the main reason I actually stick with golf.
You mentioned kind of the 3 flights. I know you've talked about kind of not the greatest impact on the environment, and I know you've done some work on that this past year. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, well, so my family raised me to take care of the environment and be active, recycle, think about all these little stuff that I can actually do, and there's not much I can do about it, but taking the transatlantic flight, that's my carbon footprint is up in the air so much. And I wish there was something else, but also I don't want this to be the obstacle I don't want this to be the one thing that is taking me away from my goals and my dreams. So I try to take something and give back something. So I try to find somehow balance, even though it's tough sometimes. And I don't want to sound like a hypocrite talking to people about how they should behave and what's right to do, what's wrong to do when I'm like this. And even the takeout at tournaments, and sometimes I just can't find a recycle bin, so I have to throw my plastic bottle in the normal bin. So it's for me, it's as I said in the interview, it's 80% doing the right stuff, and then the 20% it's just what it is.
Have you noticed since you got to the US that maybe there's a little bit of a change in how people look at the environment, or has that kind of been similar across both cultures?
I feel like back home it's way more mainstream, I would say. Here sometimes I feel like a crazy person that I actually recycle or try to find the right bin or whatever, using my own bottle and stuff like this. But what I actually really like here is that campus is trying to do so much stuff, and I think that's really cool. But as I said before, outside campus, it's like much worse. And I feel like there's so much more that we can do, and like so many easy things that can be like easily achieved. But it's just, I feel like people don't care that much. And I feel like maybe if this topic can become more popular, it would help so much. Like sometimes I feel like people actually like look at me in a weird way just because I care about the environment. Does that make sense? Whereas it could be totally opposite. Like I could be the cool person caring about the climate, whereas now it's not cool. If that makes sense. Yeah, that's my feeling.
Talk about this season, how it's gone for you, and obviously regionals coming up. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about this year's team because I'll be honest, we've had some troubles past year and we didn't do as great as we wished for. But this year, I love the team so much, and I think we're doing a really good job, and we are like 30th in the country, which I think it's really good because there is so many good teams. And we're heading to Georgia in a week, and I think it's pretty good field for us. There's I think we've beat all the teams that are there this year, so that's exciting to me. I think we have pretty good chance to make nationals.
You had been to regionals before. The team went in 2021. Is there any kind of messaging you're sending to them as someone who's been there, and maybe when some of them have not?
I mean, I feel like we try to take this as a normal tournament for us. We don't want to be like too nervous about it, and like obviously we all know what is at like what are we playing for, but at the same time it's the same 18 holes we play every single day, even though if it's 300 miles away. But yeah, so I just hope I think the team is ready, and I just hope that like we are getting in the right direction.
What was the biggest challenge for you, other than the language, when you came over here in terms of adjusting? Like, was it the style? Was it American styles kind of different, with both on the course and off?
I feel like golf. Well, my first semester. First of all, my first semester was COVID year. Still, it was like 2020, so everything was different. And I came here, I didn't know everybody, and we had super strict rules with like not meeting anyone and like being in the bubble because we could have been tracked as a contact. So it was really tough for me to transition in the COVID year. I would say that was the most challenging thing. And like overall, I would say I thought that the culture of the United States was way more similar to the European than it actually is. Like, I feel like it's hard to explain, but it's just, I feel like the relationships back home are like just different, and like it took me some time to like just adjust here, if that makes sense.
How would you say they're different? Just if you want to expand on that a little bit. I'm just interested in your perspective, being somebody from Europe.
I feel like back home, first of all, like people are not as friendly as here. Like here, people are super nice and like they're so interested in me. But on the other hand, I feel like, and it's also maybe the system that the university has, but it's like once I like meet someone and like I talk to him during the semester, and like I feel like we're friends. The next semester we don't talk at all, and like I was used to like keeping all these contacts and like getting coffees and like or lunches and all this stuff, and here it's just like I see him semester and like we're friends, but then that doesn't mean we'll be friends in the next 5 years.
Yeah, Sam and I both play a little bit of golf, definitely not to your level. So the question I had, just some like interesting golf specific questions. Any difference in the courses in the Czech Republic and the United States?
Okay, so I grew up on the bent grass, which like is, I would say, Maryland and up north, like Pennsylvania and Ohio, and tournaments we play there. And most of the year we go down south just because the weather. And there's Bermuda, which is like, I know I sound crazy, but for me it's super weird. like let's say the chipping or the short game is so much different, and it took me like 1 year to adjust. And also the weird thing is that like we switch all the time. Like a week ago we played Big Ten in Pennsylvania, which was banned, but next week we go down to Georgia, where it's Bermuda. So like we need to fit the practice in the grass we are going to play in at. So yes, I think that's one of the differences that I came across on my like way here. And other than that, maybe one more thing, and that is like golf is such an individual sport, and playing in high school, it was only me, and like I didn't have a team, I didn't have a like group of people at my home club that like would do stuff around together. And here I do everything with my team, and like it took some time to adjust, but now I've been enjoying like having people around me that can help me and like drive me and like share a common goal that like we are trying to achieve.
We talked about the team and individual aspect. I did a lot of track growing up, and it's kind of the same thing where it's individual, but you're working as a team. What's that mentality like when, you're playing around, you have the regionals, for example, you'd love to qualify individually, but also trying to work with your team and trying to qualify that way. Like, what's the mentality? Like, what's kind of the way you guys talk through that?
Yeah. So, obviously qualifying is really tough because there's 8 people in the team, but only 5 travel. And I think it can be, sometimes it is really hard for all of us because let's say 2 people are fighting for one spot. And at one side, you need to beat this kid to like play in the tournament. But on the other hand, you need this kid to play as like the best she can, just because every single score counts in the team. So I think we've been doing really good job, and I don't feel any drama on the team, which I think it's actually very rare. Like from the teams I've heard, and like I have friends all over the States. So it's very common to have like dramas, not just because of qualifying, but all this stuff. But I think as a team, we're doing a really good job, and also coaches really care about it, and like they want us to stick together and support each other. So we are doing a lot of different stuff outside the golf. So I think that's really cool. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, so me, Brendan said we're both golfers. Obviously, again, nowhere near your level, but when I'm in golf, it's such a like flow game. I feel like if I get in a slump, that can carry over for a really long time versus like if I'm in a groove hitting my driver well, like that lasts for a while. When you're in one of those, do you ever get in one of those like mental slumps that translates to the physical? And like, how do you break out of it? Do you practice a lot more? Sometimes I find that I have to like take a step back. Like, how do you adjust to that?
Well, it's not easy, and I've been having trouble with this a lot, and it's one aspect of the game that like I need to get better at. But I think at this point, first of all, like if my long game is really bad that day, I need to make sure my short game is good enough to like hold me onto a pretty good, like solid result. Like I don't think a D1 golfer should like shoot over 80, even though like the whole game sucks. Just because, well, that sounds so bad. I didn't mean to like sound it in a bad way, but I think even if your long game sucks or your putting sucks, you have so many different aspects of the game that like should hold you up to like not a good result, but like solid one. So, and also, well, I've had pretty bad rounds in my college season too. Like my first round was like 87. My first college round was, I think, 87.
So bad.
Yeah. So So I just need to like. So usually coach lets us like be mad like 1 hour, and then whenever like after that time is gone, Like, we cannot talk about that round anymore. We have to like tell her two good shots that we've hit in the round, and like we need to make a lineup like after that round, and like not just think about it, which can be hard, but also like we make sure that like, or coach is trying to make sure that like she helps us not to think about it. Like, so let's say I shoot 80. I want her to be mad about it, to talk to her like swing changes, putting practice, anything. Then I'll make my journal, which we have to do after every single round. Like, she gives us questions, what to write about, and then after the period is done, I'm like, I know I need to focus on the next round, and I know I've done everything I could have in that 1 hour to be ready to shoot low the next day. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Do you have any funny anecdotes or like funny stories from that first round when you played and you shot back? Because I'm sure that was pretty scary, like coming over and then your first round you don't do very good. Like, what was that? What was that like? What stories do you have maybe from teammates?
Well, I shanked my 4-iron on like, so there's this super tough par 3. I think was in maybe number 4 or something, and I birdied the third one. So first and second hole so bad, like double, triple bogey, whatever. I birdied the third hole, and I'm like, okay, Trish, this is it. Like the round is turning around. Like, I'm gonna play my greatest golf at this point. Like, I'm so hyped. So I'm standing on the really tough par 3 with my 4-iron, which is like, I hate that club. I hate the club so much. So I'm standing there, and those of my playing partners are like, they stick it so close. Like, both of them are inside 20 feet for birdie. And coach is there with me. The head coach is there with me. And she was like, she did all the math. Like, we came up with this like super low draw, whatever, like this nice shot that I'm supposed to hit. Well, I shanked the ball. So on a par 3 where I'm supposed to be on the with my first shot on the green, I still had like 80 yards for the second shot. So
Tough scene.
Like a double bogey or something, whatever. It was so bad. And then the coach left, and she never saw me again that day. And then she was like, so we are getting dinner, and she was like, Trish, next round, I am never leaving you. So then she walked with me the next round, and I shot like, I don't know, 76, 75. It was better, but the team was, at that point, the team was so good that my score didn't count any of the 3 days, because we count 5 players, but we count only 4 scores.
We both, like we said, know a little bit about golf. So we, at the end of each episode, we do a segment where we ask like rapid fire questions. So give you a question and just give us your response in a couple words. So we'll start us up. What is your favorite golf course?
Augusta National, but I've never played. But it's my favorite golf course.
What's the favorite course that you've played?
I really like my home golf course. That's my favorite. It's so pretty, like hilly with the castle around. It's so cute.
Favorite golf ball?
Titleist Pro V1X.
What's your favorite golf shoe?
FootJoy. I should say Under Armour, but it's FootJoy. But
what was your favorite club?
Pitching wedge.
You might have already said it. What's your least favorite club?
Word. And I don't have that club anymore.
Favorite type?
I got rid of it.
Favorite type of hole?
I would say par 5. Reachable par 5.
Every golfer's favorite hole. What's your favorite like surface to play on?
I like bent.
What's the hardest course you've ever played?
I would say, that's a good one. I would say we played last fall. We played what is it called in North Carolina? Landfall. That's a really hard course. Yeah.
All right, this is a non-golf one, but what's an English saying that makes no sense to you?
What's up?
And then last golf one I have for you. What is the farthest ball you've ever hit?
You mean like yardage?
Yeah.
Well, if it's downwind, downhill, par 5, I can do like 300 yards. But yeah, look at that. But no, usually like flat surface driver, I can do like 275.
And then what is the single best golf shot you've ever hit?
Oh,
I've never had a hole-in-one. So I would say, so I was playing the World Championship and there was a par 18 par 5 and I needed to make a birdie on that hole to make the cut. And I was like 230 yards away and I went for it with my 3-wood and I hit it on the green. And I 2-putted for birdie, but the 3-wood was really good. Yeah, that's my favorite shot.
Patricia, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.